In the last hour, Central American asylum seekers denied U.S. entry for second day. In the last 4 hours, Central American asylum seekers denied U.S. entry for second day. The caravan of Central Americans seeking asylum at the border explained in the last 6 hours, "I have faith. Central American migrants wait to apply for U.S. asylum. Migrants seeking asylum prepare for showdown at US-Mex border. Caravan migrants vow to wait at border until they are granted asylum." Video. Migrant caravan reaches California border seeking asylum. Migrant caravan reaches California border seeking asylum. Video. Migrant caravan reaches U.S. border seeking asylum. Migrant caravan reaches U.S. border seeking asylum. Central American asylum seekers stopped at U.S.-Mexico border in the last 8 hours. Central American migrants seeking asylum turned away at U.S. border. Asylum seekers waiting at U.S.-Mexico border. Earlier today, U.S. says border crossing doesn't have room for asylum seekers. Officials, border crossing didn't have room for asylum seekers. Central American asylum seekers caravan forced to a halt. U.S. says border crossing didn't have room for asylum seekers. Migrants in caravan vow to wait at border until they are granted asylum. Migrants scale U.S.-Mexico border while seeking asylum. Migrant caravan finally reaches U.S. border, seeking asylum. The Central American caravan is now asking for asylum in the U.S. Via Cruces. Migrant asylum seekers arrive in Tijuana yesterday. Migrants from Central American caravan face a long road to asylum in U.S. caravan of Central American migrants seeking asylum hope to cross border. Hundreds in caravan at border in Tijuana seek asylum in U.S. Hundreds of asylum seekers arrive at the Mexican border. Migrant caravan gathers on U.S.-Mexico border before asylum bids. Caravan of Central American asylum seekers greeted by supporters at border. Caravan migrants seeking asylum arrive at U.S.-Mexico border. Central Americans have gathered at the U.S.-Mexico border to seek asylum. Central American migrants expected to seek asylum at U.S. border. Central American asylum seekers climb U.S.-Mexico border fence. Central American caravan migrants to seek asylum at U.S.-Mexico border. Central American asylum seekers to reach U.S. border within days. Central Americans will seek asylum at southern U.S. border. Central American asylum seekers must prepare for the worst. U.S. migrant caravan reaches U.S. border to seek asylum in the last 7 days. Asylum seekers in Mexico snub warnings of stern U.S. asylum-seeking immigrant caravan poised to test Trump administration's Central American asylum seekers get legal aid near U.S. border. Americans offer their homes to caravan asylum seekers. Caravan arrives in Tijuana as migrants prepare to request asylum. Asylum seekers caravan arrives at U.S.-Mexico border. Asylum or not, migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border consider choices. Central American asylum seekers reach U.S. border. Migrants gather in Mexico, prepare to seek U.S. asylum. Migrant caravan seeking asylum reaches U.S. border. Central American asylum seeking caravan reaches U.S. border. Malcolm slams lax asylum system. Is America nation of laws or outlaws? Migrant caravan seeking asylum reaches border. Seeking asylum is not a crime. Rights group calls out Trump. USA, Mexico. Members of migrant caravan must be allowed to seek asylum in the last month. Migrants seek asylum after caravan completes journey to U.S.-Mexico border. Caravan continues with 500 more migrants seeking U.S. asylum. Trump inherited a big surge in Central American asylum seekers. Trump inherited big surge in Central American asylum seekers. Some 200 migrants in Mexico caravan to seek U.S. asylum. At least 200 Central American caravan migrants to seek asylum in U.S. Report some 200 migrants in Mexico caravan to seek U.S. asylum. Organizers some 200 migrants in Mexico caravan to seek U.S. asylum. Organizers. Migrant caravan includes LGBT asylum seekers. Where is the caravan of people seeking asylum in U.S.? Trump keeps focus on caravan of Honduran asylum seekers headed to U.S. These people have the right to ask for asylum. Trump continues to rant on Twitter about caravan of asylum seekers.